Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Markeith Cook, and I'm back for my second episode of Connections with Markeith. And I got a very special guest, a person that's very dear to me, my little sis. Uh, she's going to be running for City Council Ward 4, Position 2 this November. So she has given me the pleasure of being able to interview her and just talk about a few things concerning her campaign and maybe a few other things too. So without further ado, I'm gonna hand the baton off to my dear friend Kensel Green. How you doing, Kensel?
I'm doing good, and thank you for having me. It's truly an honor to be your second guest. I did have an opportunity to look at your first show, and I was highly impressed. You guys did an excellent job.
Thank you.
But again, I'm Kensel Green. I am a El Dorado native, born and raised here in El Dorado. So El Dorado is very dear and near to me. I've always wanted to give back to my community. I always wanted to be that person that give to others what others have poured into me. So I'm just elated to be able to do that and have the support of the community behind me. But I graduated from El Dorado High School in 2002. I went to the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, had my bachelor's degree in human development and family science with an emphasis in child development, have a master's from the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville in sociology, and then I also have a master's in rehab counseling. Then I returned back to El Dorado, worked as a counselor for the state of Arkansas. I've been doing that for about 12 years. And then I also moved into management, and I manage two offices, have about 19 to 20 employees that I supervise. And I'm also an adjunct instructor. I teach sociology. And then I've been an advocate in my community since I returned. So I'm doing a lot. So a brief introduction that is, but I'm doing a lot. And not only that, I wear many hats. I am a wife. I've been married for 2 years now. Have one bonus son that's keeping me really busy. Two fur babies for the people that hold animals dear and near to their hearts like I do. And I'm busy.
That's it. Well, hey, man, I already know that. I'm glad you're able to tell the people just some of the things you're involved in, which I think is a really good segue to the first question. So, Kensel, as a lot of people around here know that you are a former alderman in Ward 3, but as you just told us, you got married and things changed and you moved out of the ward, which you were my alderman, and I do miss you representing me. But nevertheless, you are in Ward 4. So, tell us what made you decide to run again after you moved to come back.
Okay. Well, initially when I moved from Ward 3, the question was always asked if I did anticipate running again. I did thoroughly enjoy being on city council. I was able to learn a lot, but I was kind of unsure at the time. I was approached by several individuals that asked, well, when are you going to run? What are your thoughts about running? And after thoroughly looking at it and praying about it and considering running in that position, I did decide to run because I feel like I have a lot to offer as a former alderman. And then also just being the person that I am, my commitment, my transparency, the integrity that I have and the love that I have for the people, I feel like that's something that's definitely an asset that I bring to the table, and I can offer that in Ward 4. So I definitely wanted to do that. With people asking me, I'm like, okay, well, I think this is a good opportunity for me to kind of see where I stand here and be able to offer my resources and whatever I can do for Ward 4 at this time as well.
That's right. That's right. Well, I can tell you if the people of Ward 4 are lucky enough to have you, they'll be doing themselves a good service. But with that being said, what's some of the things you learned about your first go around, your first two terms in Ward 3 that you think will be vital to you serving the next term? I know that's kind of similar to the next question, but just a little more specific, like what's some of the things you learned as an alderman that you think will definitely have you more equipped when you come back?
Well, one of the things that I learned very quickly being in the position in Ward 3 is that you're not able to please everyone. And a lot of times it's not what you say, it's how you say it. I think I went into the position thinking that I was going to be able to do all these great things. I was going to be able to make all these changes, but there are a lot of things that I did not know, like certain policies and procedures that are in place that help regulate certain things. There's a certain protocol that you have to follow. I think a lot of times when you're in a position, people think that you should automatically be able to offer a solution to their problems, not knowing that there are certain things that you have to abide by in order to solve whatever the issue is. So I did quickly learn that, and I was able to make some connections and, have the support of some of the other aldermen, and they kind of helped me navigate that process. So now I feel like I know the resources that I have. I know that there are certain entities in place to help you with those things, and I can navigate that pretty well. Like we have the municipal league, and they're there to help you navigate the system in order to make sure that you're providing the best support for your constituents. So I quickly learned that. And then also just the importance of being transparent and being able to communicate and build relationships with other people. That's vitally important. When you have a group of people that's supposed to be representing the community as a whole, you have to be able to get along with everybody. So you're being a good representation for your constituents by making sure that they have a seat at the table and providing them with the resources that they need. So I've been able to do that, and I think I'm pretty well equipped in that area.
Oh yeah, most certainly. Yeah, I think it's hard for you to go anywhere and find someone that doesn't have a high opinion of you. So I can definitely agree with that. Oh yeah, most definitely. So with that said, what's some of the ideas you have coming back? Like, what's some of the things you would like to see happen that you would maybe like to take the lead on?
Okay. Well, one of the things that I keep hearing over and over again, and it's not necessarily taking the lead on, but I just do want people to know in Ward 4, if you ask me to do something, even if I don't know the answer, I'm going to return your call. I'm going to make sure that I have the follow through. Sometimes it's not that it's lacking, but we can do things better. And I think that I'm able to do things a lot better by just making sure I'm following through, making sure I'm returning phone calls. And something else that I was able to implement in Ward 4 was to reestablish a lot of the neighborhood watch groups. In Ward 3, but in Ward 4, I haven't been able to, attend any neighborhood watch groups, or they're not currently active right now. And I think that's vitally important that we are able to reactivate neighborhood watch groups, because, that plays a big part in decreasing criminal activity. And then also just getting to know your neighbors. It's important that you know the people around you to help each other out and be a support to them. So I'm looking forward to making sure that we can reactivate some neighborhood watch groups. I do know that like in many of the other wards, we do have cleanups, and I'm able to, establish and coordinate that. Some of the things that I was able to do in Ward 3 with the cleanups, they've kind of adopted in other wards. So, I'm able to coordinate those things, and I'm just looking forward to the opportunity. So I'm more so interested in hearing from my constituents to see, okay, what is it that you feel like you were lacking in, your leader in this particular ward that you are expecting of me? Because I definitely want to hear back from them so that I know, what the needs are.
That's right. And that's a true sign of leadership. You have to listen in order to lead, right? Because a lot of times I think a lot of politicians go up there and they have their own agenda, and they're not listening to the people. They're just listening to themselves. And I think that's definitely not necessarily a good trait to have. So we've talked about who you are and some of the things you've done and why you may potentially, why you're potentially trying to get back in that seat. But we'll go to something, I guess, a little more controversial. What are your thoughts on the statue downtown El Dorado at the courthouse? Obviously, we've both been at some of the rallies, so I'm pretty certain, I think I know where you stand, but for those that may not know where you stand, and for the record, those that are listening, this is a county issue. This is not a city issue, so Ms. Green or anyone else on the city council has any authority to remove that or anything like that, but just for the record, we would like to know your views on this very controversial subject that's taking over South Arkansas right now.
Well, first and foremost, I thoroughly believe that it's vitally important that we have these conversations, even if the outcome is not what we would like or what you prefer, just to know how we view the situation or our stance on it. And even that we can come to the point where we agree to disagree. I understand that for some people, that statue is a symbol of their Southern heritage. But for others, including myself, my question is exactly what is it about your Southern heritage that you would like to celebrate? It can be very offensive to some people. My personal opinion is that it should be removed and we should have something that's going to unite us instead of dividing us. But with that being said, I think this is the perfect opportunity to encourage people to get out and vote. They placed that item on the agenda to be voted on in November. And I think that we can go out and we can have rallies or we can protest and we can do these things on Facebook and make posts about it. But if you're not exercising your right to vote, if you're not actually showing up and making sure that people in your family are voting, your friends are voting, what good is that doing us? So I will be voting for the statue to come down, of course. But I just hope that we can find some type of common ground to where we can unite as a community as a whole.
Yeah, and I echo where you are on it. Personally, I know I'm voting for it to come down, and there's no gray area with me. I don't want my tax dollars subsidizing or helping the cleaning or the maintenancing of it or anything. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's a symbol of division more than what they're trying to make it a symbol of. And for those that do think that it's a part of their heritage and they want to honor it, I say you should honor it on your own time, at your own place, with your own dollar. But hey, that's just me. But with that said, not only just the issue with the statue here locally, what's your outlook on the Black Lives Matter movement and all the fights right now going on here locally, statewide, and nationally, and really, I guess, globally, as far as Black Lives Matter and racial injustice and things like that? How do you see that whole movement?
Well, I think you and I have actually had this conversation before, and, I still stand that it's important. It's an uncomfortable issue to talk about, but it's vitally important. This movement has highlighted the African-American experience, whether or not people are comfortable talking about it or not. We still have people that are experiencing institutional discrimination. We still have people that are afraid to get pulled over by the police because they don't know if this is going to be the last time that they're actually going to be able to, see their loved ones out of fear of what may happen. And that's just the reality of it. And until we can approach the situation open-minded, everyone, without saying, well, blue lives matter. Well, blue lives do matter. Black lives matter. White lives matter. All lives matter. But in this situation, who is being affected at this time the most? If I read the newspaper and I see, 10 black males gunned down in this situation, but then it's highlighted, well, how can they say that when we look in areas like Chicago and it's black on black crime, that's not the situation at hand that we're talking about. All of it needs to be addressed, but
Exactly.
it's definitely an issue, and we are definitely seeing more so injustices of those of, you know, African American descent. So it's an important topic that we have to address, and we have to be able to unite. And it's not just Black people that need to be addressing the issue, it's all people, because it affects everyone. So it's definitely an issue that we need to talk about, that we need to, you know, come up with some solutions. And fortunately, we haven't had like major incidents here in El Dorado, but we want to prevent that from happening. So how do we find a common ground so that that does not happen in our community?
I totally agree. Because things are changing, and people are being exposed, and you have people that's standing up that's never stood up before. So, you know, I mean, obviously it's a lot of change in there, and 2020 has given a lot of people perfect vision, I like to say. So, yeah, I think I have confidence in the future, but, you know, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But on to this. So how can people that want to support you find you? Do you have social media pages? Do you have a campaign phone number, email that they can reach out? How can people donate money to you? How can they sign up to volunteer? How can people support Kensel Green for City Council in Ward 4?
Right. Well, definitely, I do have a Facebook page, the campaign to elect Kensel Green. And then also Kensel Spivey@yahoo.com. I can be reached that way. And then, you know, it seems like it's so easy to find people's phone number these days. It's been a matter of public record for a long time, given my position on the council and then also
Right.
at the school. So that's been public record as well. But it's quite easy to find me. But definitely please like the Facebook page and message me there, because I'm constantly checking those messages.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, I guess the last question I've have you, what would you like for everyone that sees this video to leave with? What would you like to leave them with as a last statement? And then also you can close out a statement if you like.
Well, I would just say this. I just appreciate the fact that people believe in me when I don't even believe in myself sometimes. But I know that I have the compassion to help other people. I do that in my everyday walk of life. I'm an advocate for people. I always tell people I'm not a politician, but I'm an advocate. If you want somebody that's going to stand up for what's right and what the people is asking of them, then that person is me. Even though there are things that I may not, you know, have the resources to do, I'm going to help you find the resources. I'm never going to leave you without an answer to your question. And even if I have to get back with you, I'm going to make sure that I get back with you. We need people that are going to be at the service of the people and not for themselves. This is not about being in a position of power to me. I could care less about having a title. I tell people all the time, I was still helping people when I didn't have the title. But, you know, that's just me. I'm a helper by heart. So whatever I need to do to help people, that's what I'm going to do. So if you want somebody that's going to be there to help you navigate, to help you solve problems when they arise, then I'm that person. So I have the heart, I have compassion, I'm transparent. So whatever I need to do to help my ward and to be the very best that we could be, that's what I'm all about. So remember, Kensel Green, the right choice, November 3rd, 2020.
That's awesome, Kensel. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking time out with us to answer a few questions. I don't see how someone will watch this video and not be supportive of you. But, you know, you definitely got my support on anything I can do. And I definitely encourage anyone else to support you. Go to your page, find out about you. If they see you in traffic, I'm sure you'll talk to them like it's nothing, because you're sweet as pie. But we appreciate everything you do. Lastly, what I want to say to everyone else that's tuning in, the election is in November. You have to be registered to vote 3 weeks, or is it 30 days? Is it
30 days?
30 days prior to the election. So around the first part of October, you need to be registered to vote. Obviously, there are several people that you can vote for. I think we have a really good, we have really good candidates up and down the ballot this year. But we also have some big issues here locally, like we discussed, the monument. So if you want that Confederate monument to come down, you need to register to vote so you can be able to vote for it to come down. That's the most important thing you can do at this moment, not just protest and sit up. I mean, all that's great and it brings attention to it, and I encourage that. But all that's going to be for nothing if you're unable to vote. Not only that, we have some other big issues like the legalization of marijuana. Right now, you have several young black males and older males, for that matter, serving long sentences for that crime when now it's partially legal here in the state and it's fully legal in other states. So we're hoping that the state of Arkansas gets that corrected. But for those that's interested in that issue, that's another reason for you to go out and register to vote. So don't just only get caught up on the candidates. You know, obviously, I think we have some great candidates like Kensel, and I would encourage you to vote for them. But there's several reasons to vote, and I'm going to have some people on the show here in the future that's going to talk about some of those other hot topic issues that you may not be currently familiar with, and that's going to be part of this show to try to make sure we get that information out. So with that being said, Kensel, do you have anything else?
I do want to say, if you are going to participate, and I hope everyone does participate in the election process, when you vote, you can only vote for the candidate that's in your ward. In Ward 4, for position 1, you have Mr. Paul Choate that will be running against Mr. Patrick Frazier. Myself will be running against Ms. Diane Hammond. But you can vote for both positions. I think there's been a little bit of confusion that people don't understand that they have to vote, that they can vote for both positions. So you can vote for both positions, and you can only vote for the candidates that will represent your ward. So I will be running in Ward 4, position 2.
Gotcha, Kensel. But once again, man, we thank you for your time. We thank you for all the good information. You have a very impressive resume. And like I said, you have my support 100%. And like I said, I encourage everyone out there to go look Kensel up, learn about it, find out about it, and let's definitely support her. But with that being said, you all have a great evening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.